Inside an apartment, we see someone on the phone. Can't you lend me 10,000 yen? Oh, I see. You're the only one I can count on. I paid you back properly last time, right? I'll definitely pay you back around the 15th of this month. Oh, of course. Sorry about that. Thank you so much. You're a lifesaver. Yeah, thanks, the young man says, ending the call. I'm incredibly unlucky. You know those people who fail at everything they do? The ones who make others think, at least I'm better off than that guy? I'm a web novel writer, but I can barely finish them. A 28-year-old calling an acquaintance to scrape together 10,000 yen for rent. He stretches in his chair and says, "Looks like I've somehow survived another month. That's me." He observes the comment section of one of his web novels where several people are cursing and belittling his work. The young man says, "The comment section is a mess. It's all foreshadowing, you fools. I'm going to tie all the loose ends, so just quiet down and watch. Don't underestimate web novels." No, the readers aren't the ones to blame. It's my lack of skill. Maybe I should just, if I could be reborn in a web novel and become super powerful. As he says this, his nose starts to bleed. My nose is bleeding. Where is it? A tissue. A tissue. Are you looking for this? Yes, thank you so much. Suddenly, he finds himself in a place completely different from his apartment, in front of a few men wearing strange outfits from a different era. Itu Kuhei, 29 years old, web novel writer. Cause of passing: overwork. I am Enma Hakan, often called King Enma. Welcome to the underworld. My apologies. Literally, you worked your life away, but you're in luck. Consider yourself fortunate. Luck? That's a word I'm not used to. No, you are truly lucky. Your turn is the exact number 7,777,777,000, and so on. Truly blessed by fate. I will grant you one wish. Of course, extravagant wishes like becoming a god are impossible. Well, hearing this so suddenly, I thought I had just met my deadline, and now this. And more importantly, if it gets cancelled now, the readers will... King Enma interrupts him. I'm afraid I'm a bit busy. Wow, that's scary, the young man thinks. Then please reincarnate me in a web novel world. Hearing this, Enma questions, what? Why that? He continues. Harem and adventure and harem? How fun. Do you have a novel in mind? By the way, your own novels are forbidden? Hearing this, he thinks, how did you know about that? Well, if it were possible, I really wanted to become a god. If I could just... Suddenly, he remembers something. That novel, maybe I don't remember all of it, but I recall most of the content. The protagonist lives a pretty comfortable and trouble-free life, right? Remembering the novel, he says, The Hunter School Dropout. I choose that novel. So you shall live within that story. It's been a while since I've heard such an interesting request. As a special thanks, I'll grant you 2 more small wishes. Really? Then please send me 2 years before the novel's main story begins. Making this request, he thinks, The Hunter School Dropout, or Hand Drop for short. In the original, the story begins with the protagonist entering high school. But the protagonist starts to shine in his 2nd or 3rd year of middle school. He struggled to shake off his delinquent image at the beginning. So, if I can handle that beforehand, it should be easier. Very well. I hope you live happily. And what will your last wish be? Wait a moment, let me think. Make me handsome. Make me super handsome. Combine all the best features of celebrities and make me an unbelievably handsome man. As he says this, a light envelops him, and he vanishes from the room. What a strange departed soul. Indeed, that was unexpected. While appearance is part of one's ability, that was surprising. Normally, in a situation like this, wouldn't a person ask to be reincarnated as the protagonist, swapping the characters' souls? Transferring substitute Itu Kuhei to the Hunter School Dropout, he opens his eyes and starts to think, this feels like a dream. Did I really pass away? Substitute Itu Kuhei, transferred to the body of Kageyama Ayumu. Alright, I'm in the body of Hand Drop's protagonist Kageyama Ayumu. Wait a minute, Kageyama Ayumu? Wasn't the protagonist's name Amano Satoshi? Kageyama Ayumu. Who in the world is Kageyama Ayumu? Recalling Kageyama Ayumu's memories. In the world of Hand Drop, a hunter's talent manifests at the age of 10. Those who test as lower class or higher class in the aptitude test are admitted to the hunter school. However, Kageyama Ayumu failed to pass the aptitude test. The orphanage where Kageyama Ayumu lived intercepted the test kits. The orphanage director reported all the children's aptitudes as the lowest class, so they ended up attending regular schools, living lives far removed from hunter. Later, when the law was revised and a new test was conducted, he was deemed middle class, which represents only 15% of the population, and couldn't transfer to the hunter school. Kageyama Ayumu graduated at 20 years old and worked as a porter for hunters. Then he finally awakened his abilities and became a hunter, joining a guild. Kageyama Ayumu's memories will be released in specific situations to avoid overload. This guy is as unlucky as I am. I feel betrayed. No, I was definitely betrayed. When you ask to be reincarnated into a novel, it's obvious you want to become the protagonist. Now, I'm stuck living as the epitome of misfortune in my second life too. Thanks to the memories I just recalled, I remember what kind of character Kageyama Ayumu is. He's the teacher of the class next to the protagonists and teaches swordsmanship. He's a background character among background characters with almost no screen time. No matter how I think about it, this is just, if I knew this would happen, I would have asked to be sent to heaven or something. I'd love to go back and confront him, but to return to the afterlife, I have to pass on, right? If I passed away just to confront him, I'd probably go straight to the bad place. You will soon awaken from your sleep. I wish you good fortune, Kageyama-san. You've got to be kidding me. I have to live as Kageyama Ayumu. Let me start over. As he says this, he wakes up in a bed. I'm back. It's not a dream. A cell phone starts to ring, and he looks to his side. Hello? Good morning, Kageyama Ayumu-san. This is the finance team from the Chase Guild. Hearing this, he thinks, darn it, so I really was reincarnated as Kageyama Ayumu. We've deposited your retirement pay. We're calling to confirm. If there are any discrepancies or if you have any questions, please contact us, okay? So he checks his account. Ishibana Shingen Bank, deposit 3,877,146 yen, depositor. Chase Guild Retirement, balance 30,953,248 yen. As he looks at his balance, his eyes widen. He stares at the message in disbelief. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So, he gets up and opens the curtain of his room. I am Kageyama Ayumu. From today on, I am Kageyama Ayumu. As expected of a hunter, having a balance of 30 million, looking only at his memories, I thought his life wouldn't be so different from mine. But for some, 30 million might not be much, but for me, who passed on from overwork as a third-rate writer, barely getting by, it's a dream fortune I could never have imagined. What's the point of moping now? Although monsters, portals, and hunters exist, this world isn't so different from modern Japan. In a Japan like this, I'm now 25 years old. 25 years old with a balance of over 30 million and super handsome. This is the best. Young, handsome, with decent skills and stamina. Of course, B-class hunters like Kageyama Ayumu are a dime a dozen. Unlike the protagonist, who's meant to come from a wealthy family, as the story progresses and power levels increase, he'll be forgotten as a background character. A minor character who has no impact on the story's progression, whether he's there or not. This is actually perfect. The Hunter School Dropout has two protagonists. Tsukisaki Makoto, the original protagonist, and Amano Satoshi, who reincarnates as the novel's delinquent. The protagonist, Amano Satoshi, who was reincarnated as the novel's delinquent young master, maximized his knowledge of the original story and monopolized the chances that were supposed to go to the original protagonist. Furthermore, he used his wealth to use spiritual medicines, eventually growing to rival the protagonist's talent. Having reincarnated in Kageyama Ayumu's body, I'm different from them from the start. There's no need to compete, and I'm not even a rival. I don't even need to get involved with them in the first place. The reason I wanted to be the protagonist was just to have an easy mode anyway, which means I can work casually and live an easy life. This is the kind of luxury I can enjoy. One day, when the portals go berserk like in the original story and the world faces a crisis, Suzaki Makoto and Amano Satoshi will join forces to defeat the Great Army. We see some people shouting, "I wonder if those kids can protect the world," a woman says. Hearing this, a man replies, "We'll just have to trust them. Those two are this world's last hope. All we can do is cheer for them." Go, Amano Satoshi. You are the light of humanity. Go, Suzaki Makoto. Save the world. You can do it. Go, Makoto. Go! Go, Mitsubishi. Keep pushing. Tesla, show them what you're made of. Yes, it's time to buy at low prices. This is the end of world trade. Those two will save the world without me having to do anything. And in the meantime, if I buy the stocks that have crashed, wow, the money is just rolling in. I can see it. I can see the future where I can live comfortably, without worrying about money. Is this what winning the lottery feels like? In that case, until the day the portal opens, I need to live faithfully according to the original story. Now, let's go sow some money seeds. Today is the first day on the job. In Handdrop, he's a swordsmanship instructor with a history as a B-class hunter. Should I call this a blessing in disguise? The time I reincarnated was when he had left the Chase Guild and was about to start at the Hunter School. Since I had some time before starting work, I decided to investigate Kageyama Ayumu. I compiled personal information that could be immediately verified through contacts and cash flow. But what's with this guy? Is there even anything going on in his life? I realized Kageyama Ayumu's interpersonal relationships were non-existent, and that he was an extremely lonely guy. Well, I naturally became distant from others since I was always writing novels at home. But for a hunter to be like this, it seems he must have intentionally isolated himself. As he thought this, he remembers something. Hey, look, he's coming. Stop, that's creepy. Dang it, Kayazawa. And they say you can't have it all. But this is ridiculous. In my past life, I gave up on many things. For example, love and marriage. We see him telling someone it's like I'm already married to web novels. Then he continues to think I used to tell others it was a hassle or that being alone was easier, but that was just for show. There were many reasons, including family circumstances. On the phone he says, yes, producer. Let me step outside for just a bit. Of course I'll come back and make the revisions immediately. Yes. For a third-rate writer who could barely write endings, of course love was. That's right, it was impossible. But now it's different. Even if I'm not the protagonist, I've gained many things. Even if I have to use everything I have, I'm going to experience everything I couldn't before. We see him arriving somewhere. Pleased to meet you all. I'm Kageyama Ayumu. Starting today, I will be serving as the swordsmanship instructor for the first-year students. The people in the office just stare at him. Did I miss something? The atmosphere here is… Hello, says one of the men. You're Kageyama Ayumu, sensei, who's starting today, right? Pleased to meet you. I'm Hayashi Masayo. Please use the seat next to mine. Thank you. I look forward to working with you. Sensei, are you really a teacher? You look like an actor. Well, this is going to cause quite a stir today. Not at all, he says, smiling. Thank you very much. Then he thinks, of course I got this face in exchange for my life. Which guild were you with before, Kageyama? Sensei? I was with the Chase Guild before coming here. Chase, that's a prestigious guild. Amazing. You're still young enough to continue being active as a hunter, yet you chose to teach. That's wonderful. It's no big deal, he replies and thinks. I can feel the sensation of becoming more outgoing. From the Chase Guild, we've got an amazing person. Pleased to meet you. I'm Ryuzaki Yamato. I teach spearmanship to the second-year students. I'm from the Wakashu Guild and a graduate of the 6th Hunter School. Which school did you graduate from? Kageyama-sensei? Being so handsome, you must have been quite popular. The women intervene. Let me guess. From the 7th school, right? I bet on the 4th school. If you were our graduate, I would definitely know. So it must be the 5th school. Guys? Actually, I'm not a hunter school graduate. Come on, how can you become a hunter without graduating from a hunter school? Did you study abroad, perhaps? Or do you have dual citizenship? Could we even accept someone with dual citizenship at our school? With the questions mounting, he says, I'm pure Japanese. Some hunters didn't graduate from hunter schools, you know. I'm one of those cases. As soon as he says this, the cheerful mood on the others' faces vanishes at once. The man takes his hand off his shoulder. Man, I get it. You should have just said so from the start. I'm gonna step out for a smoke. Sensei, we'll smoke with you. And here I was expecting something because he said Chase Guild, but he's just an irregular. Isn't that the thing, where they have to hire a non-hunter school graduate? What? An irregular? A cold atmosphere is detected. Recalling Kageyama's memories. Hunter Test Kit, the most accurate way to check a hunter's potential. This kit contains the body fluid of a monster called Saruman and costs 10,000 yen each. The director of the facility that illegally distributed kits and forced children to fight lower-class monsters was arrested. After that, with the help of Yuki, another graduate from the orphanage, Kageyama Ayumu also underwent a re-examination. However, non-hunter school graduates like Kageyama Ayumu and Yuki tend to lag behind because they can't receive the education that is standard in hunter schools in regular school. Thus, a capability gap between these two groups is inevitable. Non-hunter school graduates who suffer discrimination banded together, and a law prohibiting discrimination against non-regular hunters was enacted. This law prohibits asking about educational background during recruitment. but some public institutions have separate quotas for non-hunter school graduates. In other words, the current situation is unreasonable for hunter school graduates. Contrary to the law's intent, discriminatory feelings towards non-hunter school graduates are only growing stronger, and therefore it's best to hide the fact that you didn't graduate from a hunter school if possible. So Kageyama thinks, you should have warned me sooner. I understand how those people felt, but it's frustrating. According to my memories, I never participated in demonstrations or signed petitions. Sorry about that on your first day. Kageyama-sensei, please understand, given the current situation, I have to put up with this for a comfortable retirement, he thinks, before saying, no, I understand why those people might feel resentful. Getting in through preferential treatment just because you're a non-hunter school graduate, anyone would. What? What are you talking about? Kageyama stares at him. I wasn't hired through preferential treatment. What are you talking about? You passed the test and were properly observed. This isn't just any school, but a hunter school. Preferential treatment for non-hunter school graduates. We don't have that. It seems you teachers have some misunderstanding among yourselves. Hiring teachers through preferential treatment. Our school must be in a tight spot. I feel sorry for the first-year students taking swordsmanship classes. It's fine. First-year students only focus on building stamina and the basics anyway. The school probably thought the same and deliberately assigned first-year students to him. Well, at least he's handsome. Teacher, you like him? Just because he's handsome? Someone who didn't even graduate from a hunter school can't amount to much. Since he's not a hunter school graduate, he must be from an orphanage, right? Good looks. But with that kind of background, what a waste. Should we tell the students to seek swordsmanship lessons outside of school? It's a life-risking job after graduation. Who knows what will happen if they're taught by someone like that? As she was saying this, she runs into Kageyama. Kageyama-sensei, why are you here? So you were all here? I asked Hayashi-sensei about the smoking area. It seems there was a misunderstanding earlier. Do you have a moment before the morning assembly? Time? Weren't you eavesdropping? No, I just happened to overhear a bit. As he says this, he thinks getting mad at me. Suck it up. I have to endure it. Isn't this all for the money? So he says, I was worried that your misunderstanding might spread to the students. I wasn't hired through preferential treatment. I just wanted to say that I look forward to working with you all. Kageyama-sensei, it seems you're getting something wrong. Whether it's preferential treatment or a parachute, it doesn't matter. That's not what we're talking about. It's a more fundamental question of whether you should have been chosen. Don't just waltz in here, you non-hunter school grad. Please keep a low profile from now on and stay quiet. We have regular subject teachers too, so if you want to socialize, go to them. Wow, Sensei, that was harsh. He's a swordsmanship instructor, so he must be at least a B class, right? He must have cleared that well too, right? A non-hunter school grad becoming a B class. Hey, Kageyama-sensei, if you're dissatisfied, you can request a duel. I have the A-class promotion exam next month. If you request it after I get promoted, it won't be too shameful, even if you lose. Kageyama Ayumu. This is why he was lonely. This time it's really good. Really? Am I finally going to make my debut? Weird. This is good for an amateur. You didn't even graduate from a school like me. Forget about debuting. You're better off just keeping this as a hobby. If you make this your job, you'll start to hate writing. I wonder how that guy who debuted with the novel I wrote the following year is doing now. We see an image of a chat. People are commenting. After that, my work was treated as fake and criticized non-stop. I forgot that this guy was also very unhappy. This isn't any different from my past life. Even if it's stable, what's the point of living like this? Ryuzaki-sensei, please wait. Just this once. The teacher looks at him. What is it? I'm going to show off a little. I accept the duel, he says, for a comfortable life in the future. Kageyama-sensei, have you lost your mind? If you're trying to show off in front of the other teachers, I'll pretend this never happened if you back down now. I'm serious. Let's do it. Me and you. A duel. That's it. Duel. In the world of hand drop, when there's a dispute between hunters, everything is decided through the outcome of a duel. Refusing a duel brings great dishonor, but it is possible to refuse if the reason is irrational or unjust. We see him speaking again. If I'm being treated this way due to prejudice against non-hunter school graduates, I have no choice but to prove myself in a duel against you, Ryuzaki-sensei. If you prefer, we can do it after you're promoted to A rank. You're underestimating me. How much dueling experience do you have? Despite the fancy name, you know that anything short of taking a life is allowed, right? I won't be held responsible if you get hurt, you know. You sure talk a lot. So, are you going to do it or not? A week from now, to be precise, next Friday, at the spear training area. And I'd like you two to witness it as well. I don't know where this confidence came from, but you'd better be preparing for a new job next week. Saying this, he and the two female teachers leave the place. The day passed in a blink of an eye. I am Kageyama Ayumu. Starting today, I will be your instructor. In the morning, I was met with the envious gazes of the students. Swordsmanship, which I was most worried about, mysteriously came to me instinctively as soon as I held the sword. The conditionally awakened memories of Kageyama Ayumu had naturally integrated the swordsmanship skills into his original body as well. We see him teaching. You do this, and then this here, and after that, this. And if you do it like this, it becomes quite simple, right? Some girls go wild. It was easy since the first-year classes focused on the basics of swordsmanship and physical conditioning. The real problem was, we see a classroom. There, he introduces himself. I am Kageyama Ayumu, and I will be teaching you from today. It's a pleasure to meet you. In the afternoon class, I was met with the disinterested gazes of the students. As he writes something on the blackboard, a student questions, "Sensei, is it true you're having a duel with Ryuzaki Sensei next week?" Hearing this, he says, "It's already become a rumor, huh?" Those two must be spreading rumors as they please, since the outcome seems obvious. Are you going to be okay? He's an elite A ranker, specializing in spears. Elite, huh? You can't get discouraged without even trying. They say the most important thing is to never give up. I think you all already know because of the rumors, but I'm a non-hunter school graduate who teaches swordsmanship. Honestly, I'm not confident. In fact, I have no confidence at all. I'm not confident in losing. That's it. Anyway, the result will be out next week. For now, let's focus on the class. As he says this, he thinks, if asked whether this was psychological warfare using the students, I'd say it's partially true. After all, my confidence should have some effect. I want a one-way ticket. Anyone who is bored, please enjoy. He continues to think, but half of it was genuine. From tonight, many things will change. Hunter training school? Elite education? If you're looking down on people with such ridiculous pride, then I'll have to receive an elite education. The first major advantage of Handrop's protagonist is the internal force technique. Thus, we see him standing, staring at a mountain. Although unusual for this type of reincarnation story, the first thing Handrop's protagonist masters is the internal force technique from martial arts novels. If the first event had been a spiritual medicine or an item, I couldn't have taken it easily, as Amano Satoshi, who knows the future, would have been suspicious. Even the original Amano Satoshi took this chance from Suzaki Makoto, the original protagonist. The manual won't disappear, and good things should be shared. Besides, my goal isn't to become a hero who will save the world, so I don't need to be as strong as the protagonist. We see him placing his hand somewhere with a green glow. Being strong enough to win the duel is enough, he thinks, staring at a portal in front of him. Handrop's first event, the essence of the internal force technique, is hidden beyond this portal. Well then, excuse me. He steps through the portal. We see his eye open, and the young man is in a snowy location. I didn't know because there was no description in the original, but this is a spectacular view. I didn't know a place like this existed. No, it's not the time to enjoy the scenery. I need to find the manual quickly. As he thinks this, he feels a presence behind his back, and he leaps forward, dodging an attack. What was that just now? You avoided my technique, albeit superficially. It seems you are no ordinary person. State your affiliation and name. Which sect sent you? And how did you get here? Chinese, he thinks. Somehow I can understand it. So Kageyama Ayumu could speak Chinese too. I'm a teacher at a hunter school in Japan. I came here through a portal. Japan? Hunter school? Portal? I don't understand a word you're saying. Can't you see that white portal? I've been trapped here for countless years. After 30 years passed, I stopped counting. What's going on? The manual that was here is gone, and instead there's this weird old man. An old man. Wait, could this person be? Thinking this, he asks, by any chance, are you Zhao Liu Liang? To think someone still remembers my name? How do you know that name? How? Because you were the one who left the internal force art, he thinks. The protagonist passes through the portal. But this is strange. When the protagonist discovered the portal, Zhao Liu Liang didn't appear. The will left with the manual said he had already ascended to immortality. Then, he remembers his request to be sent 2 years before the original story began. So, it's before Zhao Liu Liang ascended to immortality. I understand the situation now, but I can't just say I read a novel. Thinking this, he replies, I heard a story once. A story. Let's hear it. It's about a legendary swordsman who fought against fierce dragons that suddenly appeared in the Central Plains. I thought that the hero in the story resembled you, who disappeared. Hearing this, he smiles and says, so someone witnessed that battle. Seeing the old man's reaction, he thinks, it worked. I just recalled some content from the novel, but it seems to have lowered his guard a bit. He must be the type who takes great pride in his martial arts. Thinking this, he bows before the man. Now that it's come to this, I'll try a direct approach. Zhao-san, actually, I came all this way because I heard a legendary warrior was living in seclusion. I'm not a bad person. Please, sheathe your sword and teach me. You're suddenly asking me to teach you martial arts. What an impudent fellow. I refuse, but I will spare your life, so just leave. As he turns away, Kageyama says, it's a spear. The old man turns back to him. What did you say? I have a duel coming up. My opponent is a spear user. Sword and spear, which is superior? The spear is far superior in terms of reach, and with proper training, one can become a mighty soldier. It excels in both range and destructive power. The answer is the spear. What? Why is he admitting it so readily? Now that you understand, leave. Cherish your life. Hearing this, he thinks, man, I can't just leave like this. I came all this way. If I were to leave just because he told me to, I wouldn't have come here in the first place, he thinks, then says, I knew it. So a sword cannot defeat a spear. I came all this way thinking I might find an answer, but with a duel in front of everyone next week, I should hurry back and practice begging for forgiveness. What should I do? First, I'll douse myself in water as a sign of redemption. And then, what should I say to lessen the spear teacher's anger? On behalf of all sword instructors, I admit that the spear is superior. In front of your spear, my sword is nothing but a stick. No, it's more like a toothpick. That's it. A toothpick would be better. Hearing this, the old man says, that is just a general principle. I don't know how talented the spear user you'll fight is, but my sword can pierce even dragons. You dare to speak of spears in front of me. Are you ready to lose your head? Well, I shall reward that determination. I will help you, just this once. So stop your whining. Thank you so much, Zhao-san. But what do you mean by help? A secret manual? Or some kind of spiritual medicine? Anything would be appreciated. What are you talking about? The old man questions. I will give you something much better, he says, tapping a few points on the young man's body. It's hot. It feels like my whole body was struck, he thinks, falling to the ground. For a warrior, your dantian is surprisingly devoid of ki. I have injected a small amount of yang energy into your meridian. In 4 days, your dantian will open. In 6 days, you will feel a change in your body. I don't know how powerful your spear opponent is, but with this, you won't take a beating from anyone, no matter where you go. Is that it? Is this supposed to be a power-up event? Thinking this, he says, wait. Come back here if you win the duel. I cannot leave this place. You see, return to your world. And show them that the sword is superior. 1 week later, at the spear training area. I'll give you credit for having the guts to show up, Kageyama. Sensei, did you find a new job? You're as talkative as ever. Let's just start the fight. Still talking big, aren't you? As a special favor, you can go first. I'll go after you. Hearing this, Kageyama thinks, after all, the spear has the advantage in going second. So I'll accept this proposal without hesitation. As he says this, he notices my body feels light. I guess this means I've become strong enough not to lose one-sidedly. Even if it's just this much, there's no way I can win against him. But even if this duel cripples me, I will not live a submissive life again. He executes the attack, and we see everything from the other man's hair to his clothes being sliced. The people watching are stunned. The man is knocked out with a single blow. Kageyama can't understand what just happened. The referee announces, the match is over. Kageyama is the winner. Call an ambulance. Seriously? Then he remembers what the old man told him. In 4 days, your dantian will open. In 6 days, you will feel a change in your body. You won't take a beating from anyone, no matter where you go. That old geezer. What did he do to my body? Handdrop's protagonist, Amano, learns martial arts and achieves great growth. He stuffed himself with spiritual medicine, but he already had considerable skill before that. I knew it, but this is too much, he thinks, looking at his own hand. Professor Kageyama, are you hurt? He notices the man running towards him. Professor Hayashi? Were you watching? Hayashi replies, of course. It was incredible. I couldn't even see your movements. I thought you had disappeared. And then there was a gust of wind, and suddenly his pants. Observing Hayashi's reaction, Kageyama thinks, I see, so that's what it looked like to normal teachers. But he seems very happy. He must have had some beef with Ryuzaki. Anyway, I'm glad you're okay. Let me take you out to celebrate today. Professor Hayashi, I want to go too. Me too. Please include me as well. Teachers, please contribute a participation fee of 2,000 yen. We see the teachers celebrating. Hayashi and Kageyama drink beer. They sing at karaoke. And after a night of celebration, we see Kageyama lying in bed. I can't drink anymore. It was 4 in the morning when he got home drunk. A normal person would suffer from a severe hangover the next day, but Ayumu's transformed Dantian began the process of self-purification. We see a light covering his body. Having gained physical abilities beyond his expectations, he awakens and says, I don't have a hangover. Ayumu found himself in a situation where he could do nothing but confront the person responsible for the change in his body. We see him passing through the portal. In his hand, he carries a bag. I didn't expect to return here. I should at least thank him for saving my hide, but he observes the snowy location and starts walking. The surroundings are a passage covered in snow. That old man couldn't leave the portal, right? There are no animals either. It's a tough setting even for a novel. You've returned again. Hearing the voice, he finds the old man meditating. Did you win against the spear user? Win? I sent the opponent flying with a single strike. Hearing this, the old man says, is that so? It seems he was an incompetent opponent. No, the opponent was actually quite famous and a person known for his skill. In fact, I came here to ask you about that. What exactly did you do to my body that day? The old man stares at him and says, I barely opened your dantian. Is that all? Just enough so you wouldn't be completely helpless? What martial technique did you use? How strong was your opponent's internal force? This sounds like it could be an interesting pastime. Tell me in detail. Hearing this, he thinks, martial arts. I finally understood why I became so strong. Because I forgot that Zhao Lu Liang's full transmission was the first power-up event for the underdog. The Dan Tian that Amano struggled to open through training, I opened directly by learning martial arts. So, he says, Mr. Zhao, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's something missing here. What do you mean? Indeed, your dantian was closed, but there was a tiny bit of internal energy, you know. Hearing this, he says perhaps it was unconsciously accumulated by swinging a sword and fighting. The old man says, what a primitive method. So, Kageyama thinks, in the world of martial arts novels, internal force is accumulated through martial techniques. But hunters are different. He must have mistaken the mana in my body accumulated during training for internal force. So, he says, the name of the country you lived in before coming here. The old man promptly replies, it's Ming, of course. The emperor was the Hongwu emperor, Zhu Yuanzhang. No wonder. In this world, hunters only started awakening recently. Zhao Liu Liang came from a completely different world. There's no way he would know about the situation in the outside world. I like history, so I'd like to know about you, the legendary swordsman, Zhao Liu Liang. But, Mr. Zhao, martial arts no longer exist in the world out there. The old man, upon hearing this, is startled. What did you say? A long time has passed since your era. Due to the appearance of new powers, martial arts have been gradually forgotten. So he starts to think this is a better explanation than saying it's another world. The old man says, I see. Being here dulls the sense of time. More time has passed than I thought. Observing the old man, Ayumu thinks he's feeling down, but it's okay. Amano will carry on his legacy. Thinking this, he says, I don't know if this will comfort you, but I brought some nutritious food from the outside world. From the outside? Yes, here. He eats something that looks like chocolate and spits it out with an ugly face. How strange. Is the outside world afflicted by diseases? Are people nowadays nourishing their bodies with such things? There was a time when everyone ate 50-year-old Korean ginseng. What a pity. Hearing the old man complain, he thinks, this old geezer, he's the type to push buttons without realizing it. Well, do you like sweets? I'm not a child. This is called chocolate. We usually eat it when it's cold. Since we're here, please try it. What beautiful paper inside this. Let me try a bit. Liu Liang bites into the chocolate, and we see a huge expression of pleasure on his face. Kageyama is left speechless. This is quite delicious. If you have more, bring it to me. Thus, some time passes, and we see several empty cans and food containers on the ground. Thank you for the meal. I see the flavors of the outside world cannot be underestimated. Kageyama thinks he ate all the emergency food I brought just in case. So, he says, old man, I mean, Mr. Zhao, How do you usually eat? The old man explains. Having reached this state, I have freed myself from the desire for food. I only taste for fun, just sampling flavors. Is there anything else? I want to go home, the young man thinks. But, well, it seems this has cheered him up a bit, so it should be fine. The old man asks, so, according to you, the Ming dynasty disappeared a long time ago. And martial arts were lost, with monsters now running rampant in the world? Kageyama confirms. That's right. Instead of martial artists, there are now people called hunters. Liu Liang stands still for a moment. It's been a while since I lost track of time. Since I ended up here, I've focused only on achieving transcendence. Since I opened your Dantian, are you saying you're the only person in the outside world who can be called a martial artist? Kageyama confirms. Well, yes, for now. You must have realized that there's a world of difference between those who have awakened to martial arts and those who haven't. How do you intend to use this power? Nothing special. I plan on living a normal life. It's convenient for drinking parties since I don't get hangovers. Mr. Zhao stares at him. Well, if I become a trader later, I'll need to wake up early. And if I want to play a lot of games, I'll need a strong back. So it's quite useful, isn't it? By the way, what is your name? My name is Kageyama Ayumu. Observing the young man, the old man thinks, he seems to have no ambitions and is apparently a teacher guiding children in basic martial arts. He doesn't seem like someone who would misuse what I teach. So, he says, I am Zhao Liu Liang, the peerless swordsman who slayed a dragon and saved the Central Plains. Yes, I know. Kageyama Ayumu. I will accept you as my disciple. Kageyama stares at the old man and says, I refuse. Zhao Liu Liang is baffled by the reaction. What did you just say? Kageyama says. I appreciate your sentiment, but I'll have to pass. It was never my intention to become this strong in the first place. Thanks to your help, I overcame the crisis. So now I just want to live a peaceful life. What a fool! If you became my disciple, you could have the world in your hands. I don't see a single hint of hesitation in his eyes. Very well then, leave. I must prepare for my ascension, Kageyama says. Meeting you, Zayo-san, will be the pride of my life? What a pity. I wanted to leave something behind before my ascension. Kageyama starts to think again. Ascension. Was he planning to become an immortal at this time originally? The young man then asks, Zao-san, can you really go to the world of immortals if you ascend? The old man explains. By reaching the pinnacle of martial arts, achieving a certain enlightenment, or accumulating virtue, it should be possible. In my case, I am on the verge of reaching the pinnacle. By having helped you, I have also accumulated virtue. With a little more training, I should be able to ascend soon. There's no need to leave behind a secret manual or anything of the sort. I feel lighter now. Kageyama is shocked to hear this. Zao-san, you're not going to leave any secret manual? The old man hearing this thinks, what? You want a secret manual? So, he asks, what's the point of leaving something like that when I won't meet anyone else? Besides, there are no more martial arts in this outside world, right? Even if I write a secret manual, there would be no one to practice it, Kageyama thinks. Zhao Liu Liang not leaving the secret manual is unexpected. Did the future change because I came here? If this old geezer doesn't leave a secret manual, Amano won't be able to get stronger? That way, Amano won't be able to catch up to Suzaki. And without a rival, Suzaki won't get stronger either. And in the end, this world will be destroyed. I just thought of using a simple event from the novel. I was careless. Thinking this, he says, wait, Zao-san, I was thoughtless. Please make me your disciple. You're a strange one, changing your mind so quickly, Kageyama explains, because it would be a waste for Zao-san's martial arts to disappear. Please make me your disciple and leave behind a martial arts secret manual, he asks, thinking, this way, I can live a good life in the future. Zhao Liu Liang, staring at him, says, your eyes are full of calculations now, unlike before. Kageyama says, I will bring plenty of food for the training. My training is the path of Asura. Are you prepared? Yes, sir, he agrees. But thinks, dang it, there go my days off. A swordsmanship instructor from a non-hunter school defeated an elite hunter school instructor with a single blow. After the duel, the academy was abuzz with this topic. We see some comments. I heard Professor Ryuzaki was wearing cartoon underwear. Yeah, acting all high and mighty, and yet the subtle wall between practical subjects and general subjects also became a topic of conversation. Now I understand why Professor Hayashi seemed so happy that day. I heard there was a rumor about a preferential treatment system for non-hunter schools. To be honest, I also thought people from non-hunter schools were less capable. But after watching the duel, my mind changed. Besides, I heard Kageyama Sensei didn't even demand a reward for the duel. Professor Kageyama has a good personality too, doesn't he? I completely forgot to ask for a reward, but being looked at with respect by others is an amazing feeling. I'm getting closer to the life I imagine. He opens the door while saying, "All right, I've decided to go to the old geezer's place every weekend. I'll spend my weekdays in peace." As soon as the classroom door opens, he finds his students standing in a practically military formation. "Stand! Bow to the teacher! Long live Professor Kageyama!" "Sensei, I heard about it. How did you win? You knocked him out with one blow, right?" Seeing the students' reaction, he asks, "How do you all know about this? Only teachers were supposed to be able to witness the duel." "Saito, Kun's older brother is a teacher at the middle school. Can you tell us more details?" "You don't need to know about that. Now open your books. We'll be studying theory today. Unlike my past life, I have a healthy body, a stable job, and a peaceful daily life. Cherish the happiness you've gained by overcoming fear for the rest of your life." With so many grateful feelings in my heart, just 4 hours later, we see him asking for something. "One more, please. We have a fixed amount, you know." Kageyama makes a face, and the man relents. We see him getting some food and putting it on the teacher's tray. That's it. Am I lucky today or what? Getting 2 extra sausages as a bonus. The springtime of Kageyama Ayumu's life. Has it begun? Is this seat taken? Kageyama-sensei, right? You teach swordsmanship in the high school division. Observing the woman, he notices a mountain of food. "Yes, that's right. How did you get so many sausages? I mean, how do you know who I am?" "You're still bad at acting. I get it. There are no surveillance cameras in the cafeteria, so don't worry, Ayumu-senpai." Hearing this, he thinks, "Ayumu-senpai? Do I know her? When I meet someone I know, my memories come back, but you can't recognize me because of how much I've changed? How sad. It's me, Sora." "Sora? Wait, I've heard that somewhere." Suddenly, he seems to remember. "It's Yaki-Sora in my contacts." "So," he asks, "Yaki-Sora, you finally remembered? It's understandable that you didn't recognize me since I changed my image to look more like a teacher." Kageyama thinks again. The contact on my phone and the way she calls me senpai. The reason my memories aren't coming back is because I already know this woman. The character who becomes the protagonist's teacher in Hand Drop, Yaki-Sora. And not just a side character, but a main character from the middle of the 2nd volume. This woman is a member of the antagonist International Criminal Organization. Retrieving Kageyama Ayumu's memories. Right now, Antagonist, abbreviated as ANTAS, is a pro-hunter organization. ANTAS, having taken down countless hunters, is an enemy of the International Hunter Federation. However, they are a secret society that appears and disappears mysteriously. They are a dangerous group with a track record of almost no arrests. "Senpai, what's wrong?" "Don't worry, it's fine. They say the darkest place is under the candlestick, right?" "Rest assured." But something is out of place. I'm sure I read it until the end, but there was no content about Kageyama being a member of ANTAS. Side story chapter unlocked. Now recording the history of Kageyama Ayumu, ANTAS's assassin. What? Assassin? Kageyama Ayumu. Who in the world are you? I didn't read it carefully for research, but I read it correctly to the end, and there was no content about Kageyama Ayumu being a member of ANTAS. Wait a minute, could it be? I think it was written in the post-completion interview that a side story was being written. It will reveal a lot about the original work, so expect many facts to come to light. Side story, Kageyama Ayumu. The prologue is now available. As soon as this window appears, he says, "Show me now." He seems to feel a pain, recovering the memories of ANTAS's assassin, Kageyama Ayumu. When he was active in the guild, Kageyama Ayumu had a comrade. His name was Kaneda Yuki. He was the person who reported the orphanage director and rescued Kageyama Ayumu. 2 years ago, while returning after completing a mission in a portal as usual, another nearby portal went berserk, and several monsters appeared in front of the two of them. They immediately requested support from the guild, but at that moment accidents were also happening with other teams. Kageyama Ayumu and Kaneda Yuki received no reinforcements. We see a hand pushing someone. Kageyama starts to fall. That day, the person Kageyama Ayumu admired like a brother since his time at the facility. His most important person was gone. When things calmed down, what the guild told him was, "We didn't have enough resources to send reinforcements. Monsters appeared in an urban area, and they sacrificed one person to save many." But Kageyama Ayumu knew that this was all due to factional issues, that they were discriminated against in the guild for being non-hunter school graduates. Knowing the cause and feeling distrust in the guild, Kageyama Ayumu volunteered for dispatch abroad. After completing a one-year assignment in China, he received an offer to join Antas from his kuhai, Yakisora, when he was considering leaving the guild. As he remembers, he thinks, so that's what happened. Maybe because it's a side story. The content is pretty dark. I can't believe even a minor character like Kageyama had such a past. Kageyama Ayumu, who fell for Yakisora, joined Antas from that day on. From then on, he began to donate half of his income to Yakisora as a donation to Antas. Noticing the story, he thinks, wait a minute, is this a scam? By the way, Kageyama Ayumu once confessed to Yakisora and was rejected. To save face, he continued transferring support money and tried to maintain a good senior-junior relationship. Kageyama Ayumu, still full of regrets, applied to the hunter school to stay close to Yakisora. He thinks again, he became a teacher for such impure reasons. Where did the vengeance for Yuki go? Ayumu, senpai, are you okay? Yeah, no, I'm fine. Are you sure? I got scared because you suddenly made a surprised face. He goes back to thinking, of course I'd be surprised. When I thought spring was finally coming into my life, I suddenly discover I was a member of a criminal organization. That's enough to make me go crazy. I know your skills, senpai, but the hunter school is quite selective. When I heard you were leaving the guild to come to this school, I thought it would take at least 2 years. Is that so? He asks while thinking, I got hired immediately. That Ayumu, he must have really fallen hard for her. And so, how's life here? It's okay, I guess. The semester has just started. Why haven't you contacted me even once until now? You could have at least told me you got hired. I was feeling lonely, you know. I'm sorry, I was so busy. As he says this, he thinks, it's a good thing I didn't contact you. If I had called and let something slip, it would have been troublesome. It's okay. You must be busy, right? Oh, right. Did you stop the support money? It wasn't transferred this month. There's no way. I don't even know where to transfer it. There was nothing in the transfer history either. No. For the sake of my retirement, I need to say something clear right now. I'm not going to let myself be squeezed for the rest of my life. Thinking this, he says about the support money. I'm thinking of stopping. Is that okay? Well, you've supported us a lot until now, senpai, and it's not mandatory. Even if you say you don't use much money, a teacher's salary is probably low, right? As I said before, Antas doesn't force anyone to support. It's fine. What? It wasn't mandatory? How much of a pushover was Ayumu? The organization understands your situation, so don't worry. In fact, you were hired by the school right away and even beat an A-rank hunter, so I guess your evaluation went up. It's an honor to have a senpai like you helping us. Let's change the world together. So he thinks you're thinking of destroying the world first, aren't you? In a typical school setting, the goal of a criminal organization hidden within a school would be terrorism. But even though Antas is a criminal organization, they didn't take people out for no reason. There's even an instruction not to harm hunter school students who aren't official hunters unless it's a special situation. Yakisora's role is probably to recruit students with potential for ante. This is something I only know from having read the novel. I don't know what secrets lie behind the side story. Thinking this, he asks, so what should I do from now on? For now, just get used to school life. Get along with the people around you. I'll do that on my own, but can't you tell me a little more? If I don't know what I need to do, I can't make plans either. This isn't something that can be done in a short period of time, and you're the only one in the high school division, so it's fine. If you're still curious, let's meet regularly. How about the last Tuesday of every month? On Tuesday? There are almost no meetings on Tuesdays, so let's talk over a meal. Well, I'm off now. See you later. He watches her walk away. Tuesday. The training with Xiao Lu Liang started smoothly. He decided to write the secret manual while recording the growth of my novice body. Along with the oral transmission of his martial arts, he taught me to use the heart method. I help you open your dantian, but whether you can master it or not depends on you. From now on, perform the Dazuo Tian every day without fail. Got it? The old man watches him meditate. Got it? He asks again, punching Kageyama's head. Why are you talking to me? I can't concentrate. That's my line. Isn't it your fault you can't concentrate? I feel worldly desires in your inner energy. It seems you have some worries. Hearing this, Kageyama says, you can tell such things from inner energy. The issue Tian should be as natural as breathing, but I'm feeling it tremble a little and it bothers me. Actually, I'm worried because of the organization I belong to. Tell me, I shall lend you my wisdom. Well, from your perspective, Master, what kind of person am I? Am I a good person or a bad person? How would I know something like that, you fool? Hearing the response, he thinks, "This man is really annoying. You're just an unstable fool. It's as if King Enma took pity on you and let you reincarnate as a handsome man." Hearing this, he thinks, "How do you know that? If you do good deeds, you're a good person. If you do bad deeds, you're a bad person. That's all there is to it. If you have no power, you don't even have the right to worry. Even if you have great ambitions, in the end, only the strong survive and the losers are deemed evil in history. That's how the world is. All those who caused trouble in the world through wars and such are gone. Without power, good and evil are just illusions." What do you think of that? Was it of any help? Kageyama nods. "Yes, thank you." "Then hurry up and bring me some chocolate." Kageyama reflects. More than good and evil, what resonated with me most were the old geezer's last words. All those who caused trouble in the world through wars and such are gone. I want to quietly make money through investments and live a long, peaceful life. Terrorism, taking people out, and even the revenge for Yuki have nothing to do with me. I don't want to influence this world in any way and have a short life. By the way, senpai, we agreed on the last Tuesday, so why did you call me today? Well, I have something to talk about. What is it? You're being so formal. With sweat dripping from his face, he says, "Can I leave, Antas?" The girl stares at him and suddenly attacks him with the fork in her hand. Noticing the commotion, the other people watch in fright. And we see Kageyama thinking, "I expected this, but not to this extent." "Senpai, please explain what's going on. That is, if you don't want other holes in your face besides your eyes, nose, and mouth." "All right. First, can you put that down? We should go somewhere else." The other people comment while watching. "I'm sure that guy cheated on her. His face is good, but cheating is unacceptable." While people comment, he says, "First, let's get in the car. There's something I need to show you." We see the street. In the car, the two of them talk, suddenly asking me to get in your car. "What are you planning? I didn't think words alone would convince you, but there's something I need to show you. Before we reach our destination, I wanted to hear the rest of what you were saying earlier. You brought the fork with you. That's theft." She presses the fork to his neck, and he starts to talk. "I joined Antas to eliminate discrimination against non-hunter school graduates, right? From what you've seen at school, I think I've already managed to change the image. Senpai, you just won one duel. Nothing will change from that." Hearing her response, he starts to think, "You really don't listen, do you? Listen to people until they finish talking." Then he says, "Things won't change immediately, but this incident showed me a possibility. That maybe I can do it without Antas's help. Besides, Antas is too extreme. There are several aspects that don't align with my thinking. For example, Antas doesn't hesitate to commit terrorism or take lives. Didn't I tell you from the beginning? Not all terrorism was done by us. Some crimes were pinned on us by the government. And the people who passed away, they all deserved it. There's no such thing as people who deserve to pass away in this world. Senpai, you've never participated in such missions. Are you afraid of getting your hands dirty?" "No," he says, sweating. "I'm actually terrified, so could you move that fork away?" "Coward," she says, pulling the fork away and leaving a mark. "He thinks this isn't going to be easy. But I understand it's difficult to leave a criminal organization. I didn't bring this up without making preparations. So," he says, "look up this news on your phone. If you search for the murder case of Hunter Administration Vice Director Mizumura Motohiko, it should come up. Speaking of Mizumura Motohiko, it should come up. Speaking of Mizumura, he's the scum who embezzled millions, right? He deserved it. The car collided with the truck, taking out Mizumura, the driver, and 2 other passengers. The driver, Mr. Kanai, lost his wife early and lived with his daughter. He wasn't a regular employee, but just a driver hired by the Hunter administration. So, here's my question. Did Mr. Kanai, who was hired as a driver, have anything to do with Mizumura's crimes? No, she answers. Aijuan Sira, the heroine who gets a high ranking in Handrop's popularity poll. She becomes part of a love triangle with the protagonists and plays an essential role in the latter half of the story. When Mizumura passed away, her father was driving the car. Antas revealed they were responsible for the accident along with exposing Mizumura's profile. The public's reaction wasn't bad. Some people even supported Antas, but Mr. Kanai and his daughter were completely ignored. There seems to be some misunderstanding. Antas doesn't harm civilians. You know that too, right? Antas has that kind of principle. Gotcha, he thinks. Are you serious? Do you really think Mr. Kanai is the only one who was close to Antas's target and got caught up in it? As he raises the question, he thinks while looking at her, you were just looking the other way. You knew from the beginning, didn't you? Looks like it worked. Maybe I can sleep peacefully now? I'll tell you why I rejected you when you confessed to me, senpai. Why now? Well, just because, she interrupts him, placing the fork near his neck again. Just listen. You know about the large-scale portal opening incident that happened 15 years ago, right? My parents passed away in that incident when I was little. Hearing this, he thinks that happened to you. It wasn't in the novel. Maybe it's a side story setting? That must have been tough, but what does that have to do with why you rejected me? As soon as he asks this, she presses the fork harder. Please continue. If the hunters had come, both of them would have been saved. As the highest danger zone, our city had the highest level of portal openings, 4D rank and 2C rank. It was the area that needed the most help, and it was right near the Hunter Association. Still, no one came to help, probably because dozens of hunter teams from large guilds were dispatched to a wealthy neighborhood where 3 weak rank portals had opened. Listening, he thinks again, a painful past, similar to Ayumu's, but if something like that happened, there should have been a huge public outcry. Was there such content in Handdrop? By the way, this wasn't published. The powerful people who were protected at the time used money to cover it up. If I hadn't investigated on my own, I would never have known. So that's why Sora joined Antas. But didn't she graduate from a non-hunter school like Ayumu? Isn't that strange? Explaining the reason I rejected you by talking about my parents? The truth is, I didn't reject you because I didn't like you, senpai. I need to remember my desire for revenge for my parents' sake. So please help me. After my revenge is complete, I'll really consider our relationship, he shouts. First, put that down. So he goes back to thinking. What kind of parents would want their child to join a terrorist organization for revenge? If I were really Ayumu, I would naturally try to help Sora. But I don't have romantic feelings for her. I feel bad for her, and I think she's pretty, but there are plenty of other women in this world. If I pretend I didn't hear that and apologize one more time, I could surely live a free life. Since I've read the novel, I know the future, and I've already participated in the protagonist's power-up event. If I just cut my ties with Sora and leave Antas, my life will become very smooth. But still, why? We see someone holding his shoulder. He looks back. I'm counting on you, Ayumu. Seeing the real Ayumu, he is startled. Senpai, look ahead. That was close. I almost crashed. What was that just now? He thinks. While she says, I'll put the fork away. I forgot you were driving. Sora, do you know who is responsible for your parents' passing? Senpai, have you reconsidered? I'd like you to answer my question first. So she begins. The director of the Hunter administration at the time was Kido Soichiro, but I don't think it was Kido's decision alone. If he was already the director back then, he must be a much bigger figure now. Darn it, that Ayumu. There's a limit to how nice you should be, she asks. So, are you going back on what you said about leaving? No, I'm still leaving Antas, but helping you personally is a different matter. Confused, she questions. What do you mean? How can you do that alone, senpai? Even the organization said it was a difficult mission. He agrees exactly. If Antas couldn't do it, there's no way, right? She replies. Even if they catch Kido, do you think they'll hand him over to you? He says right now it's impossible, but someday they definitely will. He says right now it's impossible, but someday they definitely will. He questions her again, someday? Do you really believe that? Congressman Kido Soichiro, a character who also appears in Handdrop. He lived a quiet life until he got involved with the protagonist. Meanwhile, Sora will be exposed as a member of Antas and, 3 years later, will be put on trial. It's not the ultimate penalty, but from my memory, she will be sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. In other words, 3 years from now, she will be locked up for the rest of her life. If the mission is successful, Antas will surely, he interrupts her and says, I don't think so, she replies, annoyed. What do you claim to know, senpai? Hearing this, he thinks, I know your ending, and I know what kind of group Antas really is. Thinking this, he says, well, it seems you won't believe me unless you see it with your own eyes. Sora, I will help you. In return, leave Antas with me. That's my condition. What do you mean? Without Antas, my revenge. He interrupts her again. I'm telling you they won't help you. This was originally my last resort to show you if words didn't work. But when we arrive at our destination, you will certainly change your mind. Hearing this, she questions, by the way, where are we going? He says, to the source of Antas's funding. From now on, we're going to buy some product. We see the car stopping somewhere. Sora gets out of the car and says, is this it? The store looks closed. This is it, the Tenjin clothing store. It's my first time coming here too. Kageyama Ayumu walks through the door. It looks like just a clothing store, but it's actually different. The true identity of this place, deep in the alley, is a sales point for synthetic substances created by Antis China in this country. He faces the man in front of him. Ayumu questions, "You come from Genesis here, right?" He asks this in Chinese and the man says, "What are you talking about? I know everything. Sell me some. I can buy if I come here, can't I?" The man puts his hand under the table while answering. "What kind of fool are you, spouting information about this store? Listen, this is wholesale only. We don't sell retail. So if you don't want to get hurt, get lost." Ayumu smiles and replies, "You just called me a fool, didn't you? That's not good, is it? The one who told me about this place is no fool? What's your name? I'll let Mi-Ling know." Upon hearing the name, the man gets scared. "Mi-Ling? Sama? You know her?" "Know her? We were close when I was in China. When I asked about distribution in this country, she told me about this place, you know?" As he explains, he thinks, of course, it's all a lie. Mi-Ling is the daughter of the Antis China boss and the person responsible for the distribution of Genesis, a synthetic substance developed by Antis China in Japan. There was no way I could know something this big, but this is the last resort I prepared to persuade Sora. Ayumu, with his phone in hand, asks, "If you doubt me, why don't you call her and let me talk to her? However, you'll pay the price for distrusting me." "No, I deeply apologize. I'll prepare it immediately. How much do you need?" Ayumu says. "That was fast. As much as you can give me." "Understood. Which Genesis would you like?" Ayumu replies. "The latest one, of course." The man then asks him to wait. Sora asks, "What have you been talking about in Chinese all this time?" "You came to buy substances, right? To show me evidence," he says. "This is the Antis China synthetic substance shop." The teacher continues, "It's not just a figure of speech. Antis really sells substances. This is the first time I've heard this." Ayumu starts to think, of course, it would be Antis China becoming publicly known due to Genesis only happens after the protagonist is established. After that, Antis Japan also understands the situation and protests to the China branch. They don't oppose the sales but demand a share of the profits. This causes a conflict, but the two protagonists, acting as champions of justice, end up destroying them. Ayumu whispers, "If you don't believe me, I'll talk to a person in Japanese, so listen from the side." The man returns with the packages of the substance. "Since we've just expanded here, the quantity is small. I think if we take everything, it'll be enough for a month. Please send my regards to Mi-Ling. Sama." Ayumu says, "Got it. Can you speak in Japanese?" "Sure. But is it okay for the person next to you to listen?" Ayumu confirms. "Don't worry. She's also crazy about Genesis." The man stares at her. Sora looks away. The man stares at her more intensely, and she pretends to be an addict. Genesis is the best. The man says that person should reduce her substance use. Ayumu, holding back a laugh, replies, "I didn't know she was so addicted either." "By the way, I heard the next series is coming out soon," the man replies. "It'll still be a while until it enters Japan, I think." Ayumu says, "I see. Looks like it'll take a while." The other confirms, "Yes, if you're close to Mi-Ling, Sama, it might be faster to buy it in mainland China." Sora approaches him and whispers, "Senpai, what were you guys talking about before? Mi-Ling, series? What is all this? Don't tell me. This whole situation isn't a lie, is it?" Ayumu replies, "It's understandable that you doubt it, but do you think I'd do something like this, coming all the way here and risking my life?" He then thinks, well, there's no way Sora would know the name of Mi-Ling from Antis China. The other guy says, "By the way, you bought a large quantity. What about the payment? Can I use a card?" The man then replies, "You must be kidding. Of course it's cash. 3 months. Hearing this, the man asks, "Huh? Can we do installments for such a long period?" Suddenly, he gets punched. Ayumu says, 3 months to fully recover. Infuse the inner strength into your fist and strike the hippocampus in the temporal lobe. The internal force forcibly injected into the head will induce memory loss. It's still impossible for you to hit acupuncture points precisely, so use this method when necessary. If you're worried if it worked, try pressing the acupuncture point on the koshi. Remembering the teachings, he presses the point. Let's see, the koshi is. He thinks again. When he wakes up, he'll probably be incapacitated, but there's no need for pit for those who sell substances. Thus, he asks, "Well, do you believe me a little more now? If this still looks like acting to you, then I guess this is going very badly." "Senpai, how did you know? For how long have you known all this?" he replies. "I followed my Kohai's suggestion, but you need to properly investigate what kind of organization it is, right? When I was in China, I found out Antas was getting involved with substances. As he explains, he thinks in reality, it's because I read the 3rd volume of the novel. Let's just say this guy got hooked on his own stuff and ran off. There's no one else here, but we shouldn't stay for long. I won't report this place. Persuading Sora is enough. They can easily replace the seller, so this shouldn't affect the future. But if they find out about outside intervention, Antas might start a full-scale investigation. Sora says it was all true. I'll explain about your withdrawal, Senpai. If I say I kicked you out because you were too rude, there shouldn't be any problems. Ayum replies the reason for my withdrawal is annoying. But anyway, thanks for understanding. What? You don't tell me you're planning to continue with Antas even after finding out everything? Unlike you, Senpai, I've been with Antas for a long time. I know a lot about the missions I've been assigned and other things. I can't just quit suddenly. Ayumu thinks that makes sense. Antas is a real international criminal organization. Unlike me, a newbie who knew nothing, it's not like a club activity you can just join and quit as you please. But I can't just leave it like this. No, wait, if Sora leaves Antas at this point, we don't know how it will affect the future. In any case, she needs to stay with Antas until the protagonist discovers her identity. Thinking this, he asks, "Have you done anything that would be criminal in your other missions?" She replies, "No, my mission is to scout for promising students. But since that's not something that can be done in a short period, I haven't worked much yet." Ayumu says, "All right, if that's the case, let's do this. From now on, you will become a double agent for Antas." She is surprised to hear this. A double agent? In preparation for when your identity is exposed or the organization abandons you, you will gradually collect confidential information from Antas to provide to the police. You will act as a double agent who doesn't commit crimes, skillfully dodging Antas's missions. She says, "But I don't have any information that would be useful to the police." Ayumu replies, "Even small pieces of information collected over time should be of some use. If you're in danger, I'll testify too. But don't rely on it too much, okay? If it gets dangerous, I'm out too." I probably shouldn't say that. "Senpai, you really like me, don't you?" he asks. "How did you reach that conclusion?" "Because there's no way you'd do this for someone you don't like, right?" he replies. "Interpret it however you want. Take a taxi home." "I'm going home alone." "What about you, Senpai?" Ayumu says. "I have a place to go and it's in a different direction, so I can't give you a ride." She says, "Senpai, you're not very good at the game of love, are you?" He thinks. Will she be okay? Next, we see footprints in the snow. The old man greets him. "You're late. The light has returned to your eyes. Have you resolved your problems?" Ayumu says, "Yes, thanks to you, master. By the way, you need to be punished for being late. Be prepared for today's training." Hearing this, he starts to open his bag. "I stopped by Chinatown today. As a thank you, I bought some Zuikin bamboo leaf liquor. If we're going to train, it seems we won't be able to drink today. We'll take a break today." We see the location, as always, covered in snow. The drink is on the ground. As expected, nothing beats this liquor. And there's even mapo tofu. "Did you know I was from Sichuan?" Ayumu asks. "Weren't you mad that I was late a moment ago?" "Well, you see, I was just worried when you didn't show up at the usual time." Ayumu thinks, "I thought I was going to get done for." "So, did something happen? You're the type of person who always tries to skip training. But now, even though I told you to take the day off, you're training. Maybe it'll even snow tomorrow. It's nothing special. I really brought you the liquor as a thank you gift, so please enjoy." Ayumu thinks again. "Now that I've decided to help Sora, I don't know how much danger I'll encounter. I need to get stronger, even if it's just a little, to prepare for the unexpected." The route where Sora becomes a double agent wasn't in the original story. I've already become strong enough to rival an A-rank hunter, but if I had to face an Antas executive like Mei Ling, it's obvious how that would end. I almost forgot. I'm just a B-level fencing instructor at a school. I'm not at a level where I can help someone. He smiles. At least, not the current me. The first power-up event that Amano steals in Handdrop is the secret manual containing Xiao Luliang's internal force technique. Amano masters the content of the secret manual and opens his dantian by doping himself with various spiritual medicines, unlike Amano, who struggled to use his internal force. I had my dantian opened directly. Come to think of it, the old man is the strongest character in the novel's world, isn't he? If I receive proper guidance, I should be able to protect myself no matter what happens. That's right, disciple. Huh? We're out of instant ramen. The chicken tenderloin ramen was delicious. The zajangmian was good too, so buy more of that as well. Ayumu thinks, be patient, the old man is technically the strongest in the world. I'll bring them next time I visit, the old man says again, and don't forget the chocolates either. Ayumu tries to concentrate. The old man shakes a small packet. Ayumu keeps trying to concentrate. and the old man pours hot water into an instant noodle cup. The smell reaches Ayumu's nose, and the old man starts eating. That's enough. What? You want a bite? Ayumu says. I bought a whole box the other day, but they ran out so quickly because of you. Well, when I'm alone, I tend to snack a little. Hey, don't try to lecture me about food. Can you understand what it's like to eat real food after centuries? It's good that you're motivated, but have you never heard the saying, haste makes waste? Still, you don't seem interested in my training at all, the old man replies. That's because you're training well on your own. Is that it? I haven't felt like I've gotten much stronger despite training for a month, the old man asks. Is that so? Why are you suddenly wanting to become stronger? To be honest, master, you seem more concerned with the amount of hot water in the noodle cup than with my training posture. If you're not going to guide me, at least teach me an easy way to get stronger, like a secret spiritual medicine or something. You brat, getting arrogant just because I praised you. You've been training for only 1 month and you're already trying to find an easy way out? What do you plan to do after you get stronger? Ayumu stares at him. What is it? Haven't you been beaten enough? Getting all arrogant. Like I said earlier, martial arts don't improve just because you rush things. It's not like I'm neglecting your training because I'm obsessed with food. Ramen. Come to think of it, I don't think I'll buy any more ramen. The prices have gone up so much. Hearing this, the old man asks worriedly, What did you just say? Are you threatening me? Ayumu replies, Threatening? I'm just stating a fact. I might not even be able to buy chocolate next time either. And the shrimp chips are so popular they're in short supply. You. The old man thinks for a moment and says, I'm sorry. It seems I haven't been appreciating your effort enough. From now on, I'll teach you practically. Are you satisfied with that? Ayumu says then. I'll make sure to buy your favorite snacks too. I'll do my best. Hearing this, the old man says, Let's continue the training then. The training from now on will be incomparable to what you've done before. Don't hold a grudge against me. The next day, during a snack break, we see him scrolling on a cell phone. I received a message from Sora this morning. It seems the process of leaving Antas has been successfully completed. There are no other problems Ayumi is hiding, right? I'll just help Sora, and then live the rest of my life in peace. Instructor, did something happen? Hearing the voice, he says, Whoa, you surprised me. Shiori? Sayori? Aren't we on break? The girls reply, Sure, we're going to eat. Today's menu is cheese tonkatsu. Instructor, come eat with us before heading to the auditorium. What? Auditorium? What are you talking about? The girl replies. Did you forget what the vice principal said during the morning assembly? They're making a video channel for our school and said they'd be doing interviews, remember? Ayumu thinks. I was so worried about Sora that I forgot. I think they did mention something like that this morning. The girl continues. They said your interview has to be the first one, since it's the most likely to go viral. Ayumu questions. Why me? The girl says. It's an arbitrary decision by the vice principal. If the interview goes viral, there'll be a bonus or something. Shiori will do the filming and the tech teacher will edit. Here are the interview questions. Please take a look at them while you have your lunch. Is it a bit professional? I thought it would be more casual. I heard the principal will check it before it's released, so do your best. All right, I'll do my best. So, let's head to the cafeteria. By the way, there's one thing I forgot to mention. He asks, What was it? The girl explains. The student council president will be doing the interview with me. We plan to follow the script, but the president is a bit eccentric, so maybe she'll ask a question that's not on the script. Ayumu says, That's fine, as long as they're not questions about relationships. That's good, but she's really different. If you give me a signal during the interview, I'll do my best to stop her. I'm counting on you. Make me look cool. Replying this, he starts to think, the student council president. When I was a student, she was like an urban legend. What kind of person is she? Kageyama, sensei, the fencing instructor. I heard he's incredibly strong, but I wonder what kind of person he is. Most students at the Hunter School live in dorms. The students go home for breaks, but since they spend most of their time at school, many parents are curious about what their children's school life is really like. And for security reasons, weekend outings and family visits are also restricted. With so many opinions that the Hunter School was too isolating, the government created a new policy: the establishment of WebTube channels for the Hunter School. Of course, it wasn't implemented immediately. Our school was selected to be a pilot model. There was no mention of YouTube in the novel, so I figured it would naturally be dropped. And of all things that could happen, I'm the one doing the pilot interview. As soon as he enters the room, someone speaks to him. Mr. Kang, you're here early, he greets. Hello? Miss Min, I'm counting on you today, the woman replies. Oh please, I'm just handling the editing. This is the tech teacher, mind ye. Hi. Ayumu smiles and says, this is my first interview, so I'm a bit nervous. By the way, Miss Min, you know how to edit videos too. That's impressive. Not really, the principal just asked me to do it since I'm the tech teacher. I guess they think the tech teacher is a pushover. Hearing this, Kageyama thinks, so they just dumped it on her, poor Miss Mime. They're not even paying me overtime, so I'm just planning to do a sloppy edit and get it over with so I can go home. They probably won't give me a cut even if it gets a lot of views. Hearing this, he thinks again, so that's why YouTube isn't mentioned in the novel. Okay, the cameras are ready. Great, just in time. The president has arrived. Over here, President. Ayumu stares at her. Hello, it seems everyone is here already. This is the first student council president of the Hunter School, Kim Sejin. Staring at her, he thinks, she's really tall. I'd say around 1.7 meters, and she's also exuding confidence. Anyone could tell she's the student council president just by looking at her. It's incredible that a character like this wasn't even mentioned in the novel. She starts to speak. Hello, you must be Mr. Kang, right? You're incredibly handsome. I bet the video will get a great response. I'm looking forward to the interview today. Ayumu replies, right, me too. As he replies, he thinks this kid has excellent social skills. She doesn't seem like the eccentric type as mentioned. We see the camera being set up, a microphone being pointed, and the group sitting down. The interview proceeded smoothly, although it was a bit embarrassing when she casually teased me, calling me a handsome teacher, but she immediately noticed my discomfort and changed the topic. Well, what a shame. It seems we've finished our prepared questions, so it's time for the teacher to leave. We know you don't have any classes this afternoon, so we'd feel awful keeping you here. What? The interview is over. Thinking this, he says, there's no need to feel bad. I'm a little disappointed the interview is over too. Besides, it's all for the students. That's a bit of a lie. I'm definitely going to request overtime pay from the school. What? Asks the girl. He laughs and replies, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Ms. Min laughs and also says, I'm going to ask for it too. The president composes herself and calls out to him. Mr. Kangshin? Yuki? He turns around. What is it, Sejin? A moment ago, you said you were disappointed it was over, right? I think the viewers would be disappointed if it just ended like this. It's a bit sudden, but how about a sparring match with me? What do you mean? How about it? That was really out of the blue, comments Miss Mine. Ayumu thinks, we were just about to wrap things up and now this. What is she thinking? Is this the eccentric President Eon CO was talking about? President, we didn't mention any of this to the teacher beforehand. You can't just act like this, she replies. The teacher said he was disappointed. I just thought it would be nice to show something extra. I'm sorry if I caught you off guard, sir. I just really enjoy sparring. And since your subject is fencing and I'm in the fencing club, I couldn't help myself. Ayumu thinks, this girl, she's making a genuine suggestion. It doesn't seem like she has any malicious intent. The girl continues, all right, just film the final scene then. He says, wait, I'm fine with it. Let's do it. The other girl comments, what? But we didn't warn you in advance. Are you sure? It's all right, but are the swords ready? The president replies, of course I brought 2 training swords. President, when did you get these? She says. I brought them just in case I got a chance. Thank you, sir. He thinks a sparring match with a student. Although I have the physical abilities of Kang Shin, Yuki, when it comes to the sword, my master is truly powerful. I'm still a student too. Let's see how much I've learned. Looks like I'll be doing overtime. The teacher and the other students watch with a bucket of popcorn. The president gets ready. Kageyama thinks, honestly, I'm not worried. After sparring with instructor Jung, I know that many hunters are weaker than expected. We see a memory of his training. I told you not to lower your guard. Remembering his master, he thinks if the master were here, he would probably say something like that too. I fight with students even during regular classes. But since she's a 3rd year and the student council president, I shouldn't be careless. She's probably at the level of a junior hunter at least. Thinking this, he says, you can attack first, then I'll begin. As she says this, she leaps towards him. Wow, she's fast. You can't even see her on camera. Ayumu thinks, she's faster than the 1st-year students for sure, but something feels off. Most start with a standard slash. But instead of slashing, she's going for a low thrust. That means she's confident she can hit me. He dodges and thinks, a normal student would panic here and lose control. Despite this thought, the girl readies herself and tries a new attack. He also thinks, now comes an upward slash. Impressive. She continues to attack while the teacher just dodges and parries her attacks. Are you just going to keep dodging forever, instructor? Ayumu doesn't answer. He remembers his master. I told you this would be tough. Let's see you dodge this, you brat. Remembering this, he thinks, old man, I remember how you beat me up. My body still aches. Maybe that's why dodging this feels so easy now. Thinking this, he says, Sejin, you're leaning too much. You'll lose your balance. I'm not done yet. He dodges the attack while saying, well, if you get hit from the side, you won't be able to react. As he dodges and says this, he continues to observe and think. You brat, you've already been taken out 5 times. You're putting too much force into your arm and hands. You'll get exhausted. Remembering his master, he thinks again, the more I think about it, the more annoyed I get. Should I lower her score? No. The master would just double my training. Thus, he says, loosen your grip. You're wasting energy. Use your whole body, starting from your shoulders. It will help. The girl, hearing this, adjusts her grip. She adjusted promptly. Just by changing her posture, everything changes. So this is what they mean when they say the student council president is built different. All right then, Sejin. He holds his sword tighter. Now it's my turn. Get ready. The girl smiles. The teacher eats another piece of popcorn, but her face looks apprehensive. Here I come. He says this, but the president intervenes. Wait, instructor. He questions, what is it? Are you hurt? No, it's nothing like that. I just wanted to ask if it's okay for me to use mana. I won't channel it into my weapon. Impressive. A student using mana? She replies. I started field training at the end of my 2nd year. I'm still getting the hang of it. He thinks, well, I already knew about that. Most students visit F or E rank portals before graduation. They are accompanied by teachers or licensed hunters. Even if she's only built up a little bit of mana, it's still impressive. She must have felt the difference in speed. I'm curious to see how far she can go. Thinking this, he says, go ahead, you can use it. She thanks him, thank you, instructor. As she rushes towards him, he thinks, I saw a little bit of mana during my match against Instructor Jung. I couldn't even control mine properly. This will be a great opportunity to test my control. The girl appears by his side and tries an attack. He manages to defend himself. Despite this, he looks startled. My hand is going numb. Blocking without using internal energy is tough. She didn't channel mana into her weapon, but her body was completely enhanced. It's hard to believe this comes from student-level training. Mana is accumulated through combat with monsters. In this world, mana isn't infinite. It's capped by your natural potential. The master always says that mana is like unrefined internal energy. I've already converted Kang Shin, Yuki's mana, into internal energy, so compared to normal mana, it's much more efficient. As a teacher, I can't accept defeat, but using internal energy would be bad. However, after a few exchanges, I've managed to read her pattern. Thus, he says the flaw in the hunter's swordsmanship style is how basic it is. It's built to deal with dumb monsters, not skilled fighters. And that's why ranked hunters struggle against intelligent opponents. See, Sejin? You're already exhausted. I can read you like a book. You're getting slower, so your next move is a diagonal slash, isn't it? Realizing her attack was read, she changes her grip. Reverse, grip, pivot, thrust. Realizing the next move, he says, trying something unexpected now. Ha, not bad. He dodges the blow and trips the girl. You're too close to land that hit. She falls to the ground. And the other 3 watch. We see the president on the ground with a bruised knee and a sword pointed at her. She concedes. I lost. Observing the girl, Ayumu thinks, that look. I didn't expect this, but she's really competitive, isn't she? Thus, he says, your skills are impressive, definitely worthy of the student council president position, but your sword is too rigid. Mana increases your strength for sure, but refining your technique is more important in the long run. Thank you, instructor. I learned a lot. We see Miss Min. Oh no, this is bad, the girl asks. Instructor, are you okay? She says, the video will go viral. My quiet lifestyle is ruined. 1 week after the interview was published, things got really annoying. Instructor, can I have a few copies? My mom wants one too. He replies, get lost. I don't do autographs. He starts to think. The spar with the president went viral. Scribbling something on a piece of paper, he says, I'm only signing during breaks. After this, we'll do stretches and warm-up runs. Prepare the stretching formation based on Li Jin, So's position. He hands over the autograph. There? You happy now? The boy takes the paper but looks at it with a displeased face. Are you ready? We see a suspicious-looking signature on the paper. Stretching formation, Li Jin, So in the center. He thinks again. Nothing has really changed, just more attention and headaches. It's not like I'm getting a bonus from the video's AdSense. Or so I thought until things took a turn. I forgot how crazy the internet is. Is this for real? They're fighting like pros? Relax, it's just a spare, another person replies in the comments. Are your eyes just for decoration? Look closely, he didn't even use mana. That's the crazy part. That student is a prodigy. She's won 2 martial arts tournaments. She could be an A-rank hunter, and he defeated her without using mana? Kain-shin, Yuki. I've never heard of him. I graduated from the first hunter school. He must be new. Seeing all the comments, he's amazed. What is happening? Was Sejin really that strong? Then why didn't she appear in the novel? Even after Lee Jae-sung graduated, there was no mention of Kim Sejin. So, Star Instructor Kang, how's fame treating you? Good morning, Instructor Park, Yoon Seok. Fame suits you well. Don't pretend you hate it. He thanks him. Thanks for the coffee. It was nice at first, but I'm exhausted now. Oh, come on. You're a handsome guy, Kang. Don't be modest. It's time to go into showbiz or something. Let me talk a bit about you. He says, please don't. I just want to live a quiet life. Quiet, that's noble, but not today. Ayumu, startled, asks, what do you mean? I ran into the vice principal on my way here. He wants to see you before the meeting. He questions the vice principal. For what? I have no idea. Maybe he's offering a bonus. Anyway, you should go. He's in his private office. A bonus sounds nice. I'll go. Walking, he thinks. Something feels off. Bonuses are usually announced in public. There's no reason to call someone in privately. This tension feels dangerous, and more than anything, it's the fact that the vice principal called for me. In the novel, the strongest person in the school. He knocks on the door and a voice announces, Instructor Kang Shin, Ryuki, come in. One of the only 10-rank S hunters in the country. He opens the door and we see a large man sitting behind a desk. Kim Man-dong. It's been a while since I've seen you, says the vice principal of the first hunter school, the rank S hunter Kim Man-dong. Ayumu thinks, I've never met him directly, yet the pressure he exudes is surreal. He says, good morning, sir. It's an honor. The vice principal says, skip the formalities. Ayumu replies, I'm fine, sir. I have a class soon. Kim Man-dong continues, I see, then let's get straight to the point. All the envelopes in that bag are for you. Ayumu looks to the side and thinks, all these letters? He questions, sir, are these all fan letters? The vice principal says, read them yourself if you're curious. Your duel with Sejin left a big impact. Not just other hunter schools, but even active hunters from major guilds have sent you letters. The video might have been for public relations, but your role in its success is undeniable. For the guilds, fighting Mr. Kang is a hot public relations topic right now. Seeing one of the letters, he thinks, this is insane. I wasn't even expecting any kind of bonus. The vice principal continues. All mailboxes in building 932 have received the same letters. They are all formal requests for dueling challenges. Dueling challenges? Did I do something wrong? The director replies, as I said, it's not that you did anything wrong. It's more that they want to steal your spotlight. The fact that you're from a non-hunter academy made it even worse. Hearing this, he thinks, how did they find that out? Man-dong continues, Mr. Kang. As you know, there are some instructors who don't like you. It seems one of them leaked your information. The real problem is that the comments are getting out of control. Accusing Sejin of throwing the fight, saying it was your doing. Now, even Kim Sejin, who fought you, is under suspicion that the fight was staged. Ayumu starts to think, as a third-rate writer, I remember well how painful hate comments can be. Darn trolls, they're toxic in this world too. No, I should have stopped the interview. This is my fault. We're thinking of taking down the channel. It was supposed to be used to show the students' daily lives to their parents, but now it's hurting the students instead. The situation is that the students are facing the consequences. So, what will you do? What else? I'll put an end to the rumors. The vice principal questions, really? Would you care to explain how? It's very simple, vice principal. I'm sure some of those trolls also sent a duel request. I'll choose only those who are famous and highly ranked and defeat them. Confident, aren't you? Some of them are rank hunters. Well, I guess you can refuse if the ranking doesn't match. Ayumu replies, no need. That's even better. I'll only accept a rank hunters. The vice principal questions, so your plan is to crush the strongest and scare off the rest? Ayumu says, that's a bit of a harsh way to put it, but yes. Realistically, I can't fight all of them. The vice principal says, excellent. In that case, Mr. Kang Shinruki, how about having a match against me? Hearing this, he speaks. Has this old man lost his mind? As he says this, he thinks, I must have misheard. Realizing he reversed his thought and his speech, he pauses for a moment and says again, "I must have misheard." He then thinks, "Has this old man lost his mind?" The vice principal replies, "You heard me right, Mr. Kang?" Thus, he stands there staring at the vice principal. Meanwhile, he thinks, "No, if you're going to go crazy, at least do it with some grace." An S-rank hunter challenging a B-rank hunter, the vice principal, noticing the silence, says, "I understand. You think I'm crazy? I watched your duel against Mr. Jung the other day. I was honestly surprised. I expected you to lose. And yet, I don't even think you were fighting with your full strength. Judging by your behavior now, it seems you're confident enough to take on A-rank hunters with ease." Ayumu continues to think, "Well, that's because they're a rank at best. You yourself should know that things change completely when you're up against an S-rank. Even among A-rank hunters, there are only about 1,000 in Korea. They aren't exactly pushovers. Mr. Jung had just applied for the A-rank evaluation, so he wasn't a full-fledged A-rank yet. Of course, I've also gotten stronger thanks to my training with the master. Considering the difference in capabilities between hunters and martial artists, I'm confident I can defeat A-rank opponents. But S-rank, there are only 10 in the entire country. Even in the world, there aren't more than 100. S-rank mages are considered strategic weapons, and other hunters with special abilities are literally one-man armies. This man is the battle god Kim Man-dong, one of the absolute S-ranks. In the novel, there's a scene where Lee Ji-sung, feeling confident, provokes a fight against him. He's completely defeated. Unlike the protagonist who only practiced internal power cultivation, I was personally trained in martial arts by the master, and the master said I'm much better than some guys who just pop elixirs like they're Rice. But still, defeating an S-rank seems impossible. As he gets lost in thought, the vice principal calls his name, Mr. Kang. "I'm sorry, I was just overwhelmed," Man-dong says. "Think about it. Wouldn't a match against me be better than dealing with a bunch of mediocre rankers? If you spar with me and the public recognizes your skills, the duel requests will stop. You can resolve this all with just one opportunity." Ayumu asks, "Are you serious?" "I am. Of course, if you perform poorly, I won't be able to protect you. I'm not asking you to win. Just land one clean hit." Hearing this, he thinks, just one clean hit. It sounds easy, but in reality, it's an absurd condition. Kim Man-dong's body can deflect aura blades. At least that's what I read. The vice principal questions again, not interested. "You're more timid than you look, Mr. Kang. So how about this? If you land a hit, I'll exempt you from the 3-week training during the break." Ayumu thinks, exempt from training? Kim Man-dong continues, tempting, isn't it? It's said to be a networking event for teachers. But for a non-hunter like you, it'll be 3 weeks of torment. Of course, you'll still be paid during your exempted period. Hearing this, he thinks, 3 weeks of paid vacation? Ayumu says, "Wait, isn't this training supervised by the Hunter Administration Department? Can you really exempt me?" Man-dong replies, "Each semester, the academy selects 2 outstanding teachers. Outstanding teachers are guaranteed exceptions. Are you tempted now?" Ayumu thinks, tempted? That's 3 weeks of paid vacation. I'm really tempted. If we want maximum exposure, we should avoid chaotic times. Since next week is the presidential election, let's hold the match 1 month from now. Ayumu notes, 1 month. That's exactly the day before the semester break. Man-dong confirms, correct? Just don't back out at the last minute, Mr. Kang. He begins. A man's word. Man-dong completes. Is as good as gold. I always keep mine. Thus he leaves the room saying, "It's almost time for my class. I'll take my leave for now." In the hallways, he thinks, 1 month? Huh? I have to find a way to land a clean hit on Kim Man-dong within a month. On the surface, Kim Man-dong's proposal seems incredibly sweet. But just a little thought shows how completely insane this challenge is. If this were the martial world, Kim Man-dong would be at least a transcendent. Honestly, calling him a Vajra Titan wouldn't be an exaggeration. I've barely left the first level and I've already started approaching the highest level. Landing a significant hit is like trying to pluck a star from the sky. On one hand, it's a malicious proposal, but sometimes you have to step up. Of course, my goal is to live a quiet and comfortable life, but I can't just lie back and relax while other people's lives are being messed with in the process. Side story, chapter released. Now recalling the story of Kang Shin Ryuki, the assassin vice principal. Assassin vice principal? What kind of name is that? Still, I kind of like it. It's becoming a side story. That means it's not entirely impossible. The master will know what to do. We see the master speaking. No, that's insane. Come on, master, don't be like that. Just give me a hint, the old man replies. No matter how much you try, some things are just impossible, you nutcase. What was it called? The duck incident? He corrects Aura Blade. The master continues, right? From what I've heard in martial arts terms, it's something like sword energy. If you want to scratch the body of a Vajra Titan, you need to at least master the sword force. You kids call it that white aura something. Ayumu repeats, Aura Blade. Yes, that. There's a limit to how far you can go. How do you expect to defeat a transcendent class iron body like that? As you are now, you'd be lucky to scrape off a few chest hairs. Even if you used some fancy trick, landing even one proper hit would be a stretch. No way. Master, when you mentioned a shortcut, what exactly did you mean? The master says. I'm talking about that nonsense you love. Ginseng elixirs, that kind of stuff. Maybe if you could get 300-year-old ginseng roots, you might have a chance. You could get that aura whatever. Aura Blade. The master smacks him on the head and says, yes, that's right, you brat. Well, it won't be on the same level as what the true transcendent class users can do. But if you push yourself a little, you might be able to use a proper sword energy once. Just once. That's enough. One clean hit. That's all I need. Thank you, master. I'll take my leave for today. Lu Liang says. Where do you think you're going? You? He replies. You said I'd need 3 100-year-old ginseng roots. Do you know how expensive those are? The master replies. That's exactly why. Where do you think you're going to get them? Master, the world out there is driven by money. And conveniently, next week is the presidential election. I'm going to buy some ginseng.